What is going on, everybody? Sports expert here, and we have a huge video today for you guys. So, before we get started, please hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel for more MLB trade content. We're going to be doing a ton of trade predictions, trade ideas, and rumor videos. Hit the like button, helps our video in the algorithm, so it helps my channel, helps everyone around in the baseball community. Would really appreciate that. Comment what you think about these trades and what how you would fix them if you would do them or not. And yeah, turn on the post notification bell so you don't miss any videos coming up, as we have a ton to talk about over the next few weeks. So yeah, so today's video will be Juan Soto trade packages for all 29 MLB teams outside of the Nationals. Obviously, the Nationals are struggling and their farm system probably needs replenished. So could Juan Soto be traded? It's unlikely, as Mike Rizzo, maybe they won't trade him because of what Mike Rizzo has said publicly. But at the same time, we've seen that story before around sports. It's just not believable at this point. So Juan Soto, maybe he's on the move, maybe he isn't. But it'll be interesting to see by the trade deadline what happens. So the AL East we'll start with the New York Yankees, as the New York Yankees acquire Juan Soto and the Washington Nationals acquire second baseman Gleyber Torres, shortstop Anthony Volpe, outfielder Jason Dominguez, catcher Austin Wells, starting pitcher Randy Vasquez, and outfielder Elijah Dunham. So the Nationals are getting three of their top 100 prospects, including top 5 prospect Anthony Volpe, starting second baseman Gleyber Torres, and 2 more lower ranked prospects in their organization. So the Nationals, this is if they are willing to trade Soto. Would it be to the Yankees? Not too sure. But if they get a package like this, maybe it can be enticing. Like, I'm just going to warn everybody right now, there's going to be some packages that may be enticing and some that aren't as enticing because of the lack of farm talent and, it just some teams that probably can't get it done. So, but the Yankees, they can get it done here, as the price for Soto is going to be outrageous. So, the Nationals, they're going to be looking for the best package possible, and the Yankees have a solid package here, as you get a starting all-star second baseman along with 3 top 100 prospects, including 1 top 5 and 2 solid prospects that have had solid seasons so far. So if you're the Nationals, you got to look at this and say, hey, maybe this is what we're looking for in terms of value for Soto. So, yeah. The Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays acquire Juan Soto, and the Nationals acquire outfielder Lourdes Gurriel Jr., catcher Gabriel Moreno, shortstop Aurelvis Martinez, starting pitcher Ricky Tiedemann, and second baseman Samad Taylor. So they get a starting outfielder who, hasn't had the greatest this season, but maybe he's heating up a bit, had that grand slam yesterday to get the Blue Jays back into the game and eventually win it over the Yankees. They get 3 top 100 prospects, including a top 5 prospect in Gabriel Moreno and a lower tier prospect right around the top 15, second baseman Samad Taylor. So the Nationals, another package here that they may be looking at. Moreno, one of the top prospects in the game, one of the more hyped up guys. The defense with him is unbelievable, so the Nationals will look at that. He can play anywhere in the field. You could have Keibert Ruiz at catcher, and a guy like Moreno could definitely step in at third base maybe. So there's definitely something there. And the Nationals are going to need an outfielder too. So Gurriel's a guy you can go after. Relvis Martinez has all the potential in the world. Get him. Tiedemann could be a really good starter for a team that easily needs pitching. So, and Taylor could be their future second baseman, but who knows? I mean, you have Brady House in the minors, so that guy's probably more likely going to be there. As Taylor could be a utility type guy in the majors. The Tampa Bay Rays, as they acquire Soto, and the Nationals acquire second baseman Brandon Lau, a starting pitcher Shane Baz, outfielder Josh Lowe, and starting pitcher Taj Bradley. So they're getting an all-star in Lau, who has 40 home run power, back for Soto. A starting pitcher in Baz, who has all the potential in the world, one of the best starting pitching prospects, in all of baseball. Outfielder Josh Lowe, who scouts absolutely love, and he does strike out quite a bit, but the upside is unreal with him. They could be adding 2 really solid power hitters here with the Lowe and Lau. And starting pitcher Taj Bradley, who has nasty stuff, is a guy that could succeed with the Nationals, as they're looking for starting pitching. So this is The Rays, could they do this? Unlikely, but at the same time, it would definitely be interesting to see if they would pull the trigger here on a deal like this. The Boston Red Sox, they acquire Juan Soto, and the Nationals acquire starting pitcher slash relief pitcher Tanner Hook, starting shortstop Marcelo Meyer, first baseman Tristan Casas, starting pitcher Brian Bello, and outfielder Gilberto Jimenez. So the Nationals, another large package here, as you know, there's just not much to say other than it's going to cost something like this. And the Red Sox have that package. They're going to have to give up a ton of their farm. Nick York will stay, but at the same time, 3 of their top 100 prospects, a solid outfield prospect, and a nice starting pitcher slash relief pitcher for a guy that could hit 300, could have an on-base percentage of well over 400, a guy that could hit 30-something bombs a year. He can do it all. I mean, it's what you're going to have to give up, So, it's like the packages are going to be unbelievable, some of them. Some of them are going to look, a bit more dry because those teams probably aren't going to be able to get a deal done. But the Red Sox definitely. The Baltimore Orioles, they acquire Soto, and the Nationals acquire starting pitcher Grayson Rodriguez, shortstop slash third baseman Gunnar Henderson, outfielder Colton Cowser, third baseman Kobe Mayo, and outfielder Hudson Haskin. So the Orioles, Rodriguez is going to have to go in a deal. Your number one prospect is going in a Juan Soto trade. Every single team, your number one prospect is gone if you're getting Soto. So that's all I got to say. Henderson, who's had a great season in the minors, he's going to have to go, and the Nationals are definitely going to be pursuing him. Colton Cowser, a lot of people really like him despite the Orioles maybe reaching on him a bit. A lot of people say he could definitely easily be one of the best players in this past draft class. So, there's just not much to say other than you're going to have to give up those guys. And Kobe Mayo, also, their number 7 prospect. He's a guy a lot of scouts love as well. So the Nationals, this is another big package. The AL East has a lot of solid trade partners here. So if you're looking for a package, maybe go to the AL East. The AL Central, the Minnesota Twins. The Twins acquire Soto. The Nationals acquire second baseman shortstop Jorge Polanco, outfielder Trevor Larnach, outfielder shortstop Austin Martin, starting pitcher Jordan Balazovic, and outfielder Emmanuel Rodriguez. So the Nationals, they're going to be looking for prospect depth, but at the same time, I don't think they're going to be extremely interested in a whole package of Twins farm guys. So a former top 100 prospect in Trevor Larnach could be on the radar, and an all-star in Jorge Polanco, which would make a ton of sense. As they receive an all-star, they receive a outfielder with the potential, and another top 100 prospect, another former top 100 prospect in Balazovic, and a solid outfield prospect in Emmanuel Rodriguez, who has a great hit tool. So the Twins, the package here makes a lot of sense. This could be an interesting deal. The Cleveland Guardians. The Guardians acquire Soto, and the Nationals acquire outfielder Stephen Kwan, starting pitcher Daniel Espino, shortstop Brian Rocchio, starting pitcher Gavin Williams, and first baseman slash third baseman John Kensey Noel. So the Guardians are giving up their Rookie of the Month and top rookie outfielder Stephen Kwan, who has some similar attributes to Soto in terms of getting on base. Definitely doesn't have the hit tool, but, or the power at all, but, has some ability there. Starting pitcher Daniel Espino, the number 1 prospect in the Guardians organization, who's number 11 in all of baseball. Soon will be the number 2 pitching prospect. Shortstop Brian Rocchio hasn't had the greatest season in the minors, but has unlimited potential. Has been getting Francisco Lindor type comparisons. Starting pitcher Gavin Williams, who has superstar potential as well. People are comparing him to another potential Shane Bieber, and John Kensey Noel, he hasn't had the greatest season average-wise, but he has a ridiculous amount of power, 16 home runs already this season. This is a huge package, and the Guardians are going to be one of the teams that could afford it, especially with David Blitzer, the minority owner, coming in. With the lack of money on the books, a Juan Soto extension in Cleveland, that could be one of the more underrated things we talk about here. If David Blitzer wants to spend, go for it. They have the farm system. They have the money with the minority owner. Why not? Juan Soto, George Valera in the outfield, along with Miles Strauss / Will Brennan for the future. That could be interesting for the Guardians, so. The Chicago White Sox, they acquire outfielder Juan Soto, and the Nationals acquire outfielder Luis Robert, or Robert, I'm not even sure how it's pronounced. I've heard both so many times. Third baseman Jake Berger, shortstop Colson Montgomery, outfielder Oscar Colas, and starting pitcher Norge Vera. This package is not going to get it done. The White Sox just don't have enough. They didn't have enough. I had to throw in Luis Robert in there just due to the fact that the White Sox are just dry on prospects. Jake Berger, another guy that's really contributed at the major league level. Got to throw him in there. This more than likely wouldn't get it done unless the Nationals were really intrigued with Robert. But, at the same time, I just don't think the last three prospects are definitely intriguing to them. I feel like they can find more, especially in a deal with like the Guardians or something like that, more like that, unlike this with Chicago. I just don't see it. The Detroit Tigers acquire Soto, and the Nationals acquire outfielder Riley Green, starting pitcher Jackson Jobe, starting pitcher Ty Madden, shortstop Ryan Kreidler, and third baseman Isaac Pacheco. So the Tigers, big price here. Riley Green has insane potential, but Juan Soto, hey, gotta give him up. Jackson Jobe, unreal pitcher in college, 0.14 ERA, and high school, But, oh my gosh, the dude has a ton of potential. Obviously, it's not going to be his ERA in the majors or in the minors, but, Ty Madden, who was thought to be a steal at the time, Ryan Kreidler, who a lot of scouts are high on, and Isaac Pacheco. So, Riley Green, another guy that can get on base. The Nationals are able to acquire him. This could be one of the more underrated packages, though. When you look at it, a lot of people may look at it in paper and say, "Oh, it's not an amazing package," but I gotta say, this is not a terrible package by any means. The Kansas City Royals, acquire Soto, and the Nationals acquire starting pitcher Daniel Lynch, catcher MJ Melendez, first baseman Nick Prado, shortstop Nick Lofton, and outfielder Eric Pena. I could have thrown in Vinny P there, but I think they're going to go for ceiling more at this point, the Nationals, and that's what Prado gives you. And Melendez, this is two top 100 prospects, basically. Melendez just graduated, and Nick Lofton, who could be on his way to a potential top 100 spot. Having a solid season down in the minors. Daniel Lynch, who has a ton of potential. I think he has the most potential out of the starting pitchers in that rotation for the Royals. So the Nationals could be aggressive and go after him. And Eric Pena, who is regarded as one of the top international prospects coming into 2019, has struggled mightily in the minors. But another upside guy that the Nationals could be looking to fix. So, yeah. We'll go to the AL West. The Houston Astros, they acquire Soto. The Nationals acquire shortstop Jeremy Pena, starting pitcher Christian Javier, starting pitcher Hunter Brown, catcher Corey Lee, and outfielder Tyler Whitaker. So the Nationals, they go for Pena. That's going to be their top target in a trade for Soto, no doubt. The potential rookie of the year in the American League. Starting pitcher Christian Javier, they'll be looking for a pitcher. Another top 100 prospect in Hunter Brown. Pena actually just graduated from top 100, so you got two basically there. Catcher Corey Lee, very solid prospect, and outfielder Tyler Whitaker. You could go either way with a guy like Corey Lee or Yainer Diaz, who's had a great season in the minors, but Lee, the upside, is what's going to, attract Washington. And Whitaker, and they add outfield depth there. Nothing too special about him, but, something there, as maybe he could be a potential contributor for that franchise. The Texas Rangers. The Rangers acquire outfielder Juan Soto, and the Nationals acquire starting pitcher Jack Leiter, third baseman Josh Young, second baseman / shortstop Ezekiel Duran, outfielder Evan Carter, and outfielder Aaron Zavala. I was trying to find, it was tough to find another prospect to throw in there that could be interesting for the Nationals, but I threw in Zavala, as Jack Leiter going to have to be given up despite the hype around him. Josh Young, Ezekiel Duran, they're going to ask for a massive package. This is definitely one of the packages that could get done. The Nationals are going to like this one. You get a solid amount of depth here, 3 top 100s and 2 solid outfielders. The Nationals could very well take this package just because of the insane upside with Jack Leiter, And Duran's showed some solid potential in the majors so far. What isn't there to like about this one, The Angels, they acquire outfielder Juan Soto, and the Nationals acquire outfielder Joe Adell, starting pitcher Sam Bachman, shortstop Oral Vera, starting pitcher Kai Bush, outfielder Jordan Adams, and catcher Edgar Cuero. Jordan Adams and Sam Bachman are two former top 100 prospects, so that makes this deal a bit more interesting, but at the same time, no way the Angels can get a deal done for Soto. There is a 0% chance. Just not going to happen. But at the same time, the Nationals, Joe Adell, Jordan Adams, and Sam Bachman, all potential, all former top 100s. Maybe something's there. Maybe the Nationals say, okay, maybe there's still a lot of top 100 magic in these guys. But, doubt this would be the deal. The Mariners acquire Soto, and the Nationals acquire outfielder Julio Rodriguez, shortstop Noelvi Marte, and starting pitcher George Kirby. Only 3 players will get this deal done, as I think you could argue Rodriguez and one of these 2 guys gets it done. I mean, hey, that's definitely possible, but, still uncertain with Julio Rodriguez. His strikeout problems are definitely concerning. It may not be walking a ton, unlike Soto. Marte, a guy I feel like some scouts like, but at the same time, I feel like it's mixed between him, though. But Kirby has really solid potential as a starting pitcher. That's why I think all 3 might have to get it done. But you could argue Rodriguez and one of Marte and Kirby could get it done. More than likely Kirby. The Oakland A's, they acquire Juan Soto, and the Nationals acquire catcher Shea Langeliers, third baseman Zach Geloff, shortstop Max Muncy, starting pitcher Gunnar Hoglund, and outfielder Denzel Clark. So 2 top 100s in Langeliers and Geloff. Muncy, not the Muncy on the Dodgers, obviously. He goes to Washington. A guy with solid power, could be one of the more better power hitting shortstops in the minors. Hoglund, who had a solid potential, a guy that was very highly regarded with the Blue Jay system, and Denzel Clark, an outfielder that a lot of people had first round grades on last year, but fell. So the A's, this could be a package they give up, but for a team that, has already sold a bit, it would be shocking. The NL East, the New York Mets, they acquire outfielder Juan Soto, and the Nationals acquire catcher Francisco Alvarez, third baseman outfielder Brett Beatty, shortstop Ronnie Mauricio, and outfielder Khalil Lee. So the Mets, they're going to have to give up Alvarez. They're a big power hitting catcher. The thing about Alvarez is, he could be another Salvador Perez. His defense still needs a bit of work, but could definitely be a boomer bust type guy. He draws a Salvador Perez type comparison to me, Has some mistakes on defense and has some solid moments on defense. Has a ton of pop in the bat. Brett Beatty, who has definitely risen on prospect lists, over the past few months. Ronnie Mauricio, a guy that's definitely slid on some lists but stayed in the top 100. And outfielder Khalil Lee, a lot of scouts like with his speed and ability to his hit tool. A lot of people, the hit tool is there with Lee. And the Mets, could this get it done? Maybe, but I don't know. The Atlanta Braves, they acquire Juan Soto, and the Nationals acquire starting pitcher Kyle Wright, outfielder Michael Harris II, outfielder Drew Waters, and shortstop Braden Shoemake. So Wright, who could be a potential all-star pitcher this year, he goes in the deal, would be enticing to Washington. You get their number 1 prospect who's been solid in the majors too, Michael Harris II, outfielder Drew Waters, former top 30 prospect, and shortstop Braden Shoemake. So I think the Nationals would definitely look at this deal and say, hey, we're very interested. You get some solid outfield depth to replace Soto. You get a really nice starting pitcher and a nice shortstop prospect. There's no doubt about it. You have some power here. The hit tool with these guys is unreal. If you want some offense for the future, hey, call up the Braves. The Phillies acquire Soto, and the Nationals acquire third baseman Alec Baum, shortstop Bryson Stott, starting pitcher Andrew Painter, catcher Logan Hopp, and outfielder Johan Rojas. One of the former top prospect, Alec Boehm, has been underwhelming at times, but when he's on, he's really good. Bryson Stott, who was a top 45 prospect before he recently graduated. Starting pitcher Andrew Painter, their number 1 prospect now. Catcher Logan O'Hoppe, who just entered the top 100. Very solid hitting catcher and outfielder Johan Rojas. So people may look at this package on paper, say it's not great, but at the same time, it's not a terrible package. But I don't think the Nationals will be looking at this package and saying, hey, let's pull the trigger. The Miami Marlins, they acquire outfielder Juan Soto, and the Nationals acquire starting pitcher Trevor Rogers, shortstop Khalil Watson, starting pitcher Max Meyer, outfielder J.J. Bleday, and outfielder first baseman Gerard Encarnacion. So Encarnacion, who just hit the grand slam the other day, has a ton of power. He's a guy that the Nationals could overlook and say, hey, he's should be higher than what his prospect ranking is right now, which is 20th in the Marlins organization. So, and Trevor Rogers, maybe the Nationals think they can fix him. All-star pitcher from last year. Shortstop Khalil Watson. Starting pitcher Max Meyer. And outfielder J.J. Bleday. 3 top 100s. The potential is unreal here. This is probably one of the better packages you're going to get if you're the Nationals. If you get a package, this is the best package you get, you're pulling the trigger. I'm sorry. You got to pull the trigger on this one. J.J. Bleday, he struggled a bit with average, but he's still getting on base at a pretty solid rate. So, yeah, I believe he's hitting 209 with like a 349 or 369 on base. It's pretty impressive. NL Central, St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals acquire outfielder Juan Soto, and the Nationals acquire Drew Verhagen, Palante, and Whitgren. I'm just kidding. The Nationals acquire third baseman Jordan Walker, second baseman / third baseman Nolan Gorman, shortstop Mason Wynn, and outfielder Alec Burleson. So Burleson is having an incredible season for the Cardinals. That's why I've thrown him in. Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman, your top 2 prospects. Gorman's already contributed a solid amount in the majors. So Walker, who could be one of the better hitting third basemen in baseball once he's up and ready in the majors. And Mason Wynn, a nice solid shortstop prospect. Former pitcher too, so there's definitely versatility there. The Milwaukee Brewers acquire Soto, and the Nationals acquire starting pitcher Aaron Ashby, outfielder Sal Frelick, outfielder Joey Weimer, second baseman / shortstop Bryce Terang, catcher Jefferson Cuero, and outfielder Carlos Rodriguez. So 6 prospects in this one. Ashby, former top prospect, but, I really like the potential with him, but I feel like there's going to be some concerns among front offices with him. Potential trades, Frelick, solid hitting outfielder. Same with Weimer, who has a ton of power. Terang, not a ton of power, but has versatility and solid defensively. Cuero, a nice catcher, to add some depth there, and outfielder Carlos Rodriguez. So you get a nice amount of outfielders to find your Soto replacement. You get a nice starting pitcher in Ashby. You get a nice former top 100 prospect in Terang too. What can go wrong here? So, yeah. The Pittsburgh Pirates, they acquire Soto, and the Nationals acquire second baseman Nick Gonzalez, catcher Henry Davis, shortstop Leovir Peguero, and starting pitcher Roansy Contreras. So, one of those deals you say, hey, maybe it gets done, because this is 4 top 100 prospects, 4 players. You're going to have to clean out your farm to get this done for sure. So Soto and Brian Reynolds would make an insane duo up there. You give up Gonzalez, whose stock might be down a bit. Henry Davis, former first overall pick. Leovir Peguero has had a really great season in the minors in AA. And Roansy Contreras, who's made a nice impact in the majors too, who I think could be really good. And I even made a bold... I said this a couple weeks ago, but I think I've backed down on it a bit. Roansy Contreras will end up being better than Shane Baz, but we'll see. The Chicago Cubs acquire Juan Soto. The Nationals acquire outfielder Ian Happ, second baseman Christopher Morel, outfielder Brendan Davis, shortstop Christian Hernandez, and outfielder Kevin Alcantara. So, a Happ, who has a year of control after this year, he could be a stopgap type guy unless you want to extend him. He has a nice hit tool. Second baseman Christopher Morel, who has really thrived with the Cubs. Outfielder Brendan Davis had some injury problems, but still one of their top prospects. Shortstop Christian Hernandez, one of the more highly touted international prospects of the last couple of years, and outfielder Kevin Alcantara. So he's their 7th prospect, Alcantara. I'm not 100% sure how they got him. I think they actually traded for him, Alcantara, if I'm correct. So I think they got him in the Rizzo trade or something like that. So yeah, but you're giving him up here for Soto, and this deal may not get done. Maybe the 1 year of control for Happ doesn't entice the Nationals, but we'll see. The Reds acquire outfielder Juan Soto, and the Nationals acquire shortstop second baseman Jonathan India, starting pitcher Nick Lodolo, shortstop third baseman Ellie De La Cruz, starting pitcher Brandon Williamson, and outfielder Austin Hendricks. So you're getting a nice solid major leaguer. You're getting Nick Lodolo, nice starting pitching prospect. Same with Ellie De La Cruz and Brandon Williamson. That's 3 top 100s, a former top 100 in Austin Hendricks, one of the top picks in the 2020 draft with a lot of potential, but has really struggled in the minors so far. So, another big package here. The Reds obviously probably won't do it, but could it get it done? Maybe. The Los Angeles Dodgers. The Dodgers acquire outfielder Juan Soto, and the Nationals acquire catcher Diego Cortea, starting pitcher Bobby Miller, outfielder Andy Pages, and starting pitcher Ryan Pepio. So, 4 top 100s here, 4 players, Cortea, they have Kyber Ruiz, but at the same time, position changes can happen, and Ruiz could definitely change positions, as Cortea can be that catcher. So, and you get a nice starting pitcher in Bobby Miller, who a lot of people really like. Outfielder Andy Pages, who has been one of the top risers in all of baseball when it comes to minor league prospects, and Ryan Pepio, who, he has some really nice stuff and could be a nice second to third starter in the majors, if anything. Doubt he'd be an ace, though, but we'll see. But yeah, could be an interesting prospect bunch here. The San Diego Padres acquire Juan Soto, and the Nationals acquire outfielder Trent Grisham, shortstop C.J. Abrams, outfielder Robert Hassel III, and starting pitcher Robert Gasser. So Grisham, hasn't hit well in the majors this year, but has control, and the Nationals could see him as a solid piece to their offense. C.J. Abrams, obviously one of the top prospects in the game, going to cost him. Hassel, one of the better hitting prospects in all of baseball too, especially in the outfield. That would be huge for the Padres. You could argue the first 3 could get it done, but I think you would have to add another prospect, and Gasser, who's having a solid season, would definitely be enticing for the Nationals. The San Francisco Giants, they acquire Juan Soto, and the Nationals acquire shortstop Marco Luciano, starting pitcher Kyle Harrison, outfielder Luis Matos, and shortstop Ryan Murphy. Starting pitcher Ryan Murphy. So Murphy, I picked him for the Nationals because, they need pitching depth, and he's a guy that really, he's had a solid season. He's got some great stuff. Could definitely move up in the minor league systems over the next few months. Marco Luciano, one of the top prospects in the game, no doubt about it. Great hitting prospect. The defensive upside's there as well. Kyle Harrison, he's got insane stuff. Great prospect. And Luis Matos hasn't had the greatest season this year, but the ceiling is there. The Arizona Diamondbacks, they acquire Juan Soto, and this will be only a 3-player trade, as they acquire outfielder Corbin Carroll, shortstop Jordan Lawler, and starting pitcher Blake Walston. So they get 3 top 100s. Walston hasn't had the greatest season, but obviously the ceiling is there. Corbin Carroll, though, this dude is insane. He has been absolutely unreal in the minors. One of the top prospects in the game. He's a top 10 prospect in my eyes. Lawler, who's been absolutely unreal in the minors too. I mean, I think you're going to have to give up another prospect, obviously. I don't think both just Carroll and Lawler will get it done, but my gosh, those guys are insane. The Diamondbacks, they have a future, man. They have a future, obviously, if they don't trade for Soto. Carroll, Marte, and Thomas in the outfield, good Lord, that could be something. No, that doesn't get talked about enough. Jordan Lawler being a future starting shortstop for them, man, there is something there, and there's no debate about that. The Colorado Rockies in the final trade package. The Rockies acquire outfielder Juan Soto, and the Nationals acquire outfielder Zach Aveen, shortstop Ezekiel Tavar, outfielder Benny Montgomery, starting pitcher Ryan Rollison, and first baseman Michael Toglia. This package, it's not going to get it done, but at the same time, this is more about ceiling than anything. Veen, their top prospect, obviously top 30 in the game. Tovar, top 100 prospect who just entered. Outfielder Benny Montgomery, former first-round pick. Maybe they see that potential in him. Ryan Rollison, a former top 100. That's why maybe they go after him. And Michael Toglia, another former first-round pick, hit 336 in college with UCLA. I mean, this package is all about ceiling more than actual talent on paper. As the Rockies, will they get a trade done here? Probably not. Guys like Jonathan Dawes and Connor Joe, who could be expendable for a guy like Soto, 28 and older. That's just not going to happen. So the Nationals are going to be looking for a package like this. Rockies, very unlikely they get it done. So I appreciate everyone being here, tuning into this video. Please hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Hit the like button. Comment what you think. Turn on the post notification bell so you don't miss any more trade videos. We'll be doing a few every week. So yeah, I appreciate everyone being here. Sports expert here. Juan Soto trade packages for all 29 teams. I'm out, guys. Peace.